Hello, welcome back to Squashwarp in Kerbal Space Program. I'm Luke. Today we're kind of cleaning up after ourselves after launching 2 interplanetary motherships in quick succession. We sent one ship off to Duna and one ship off to Eve. The one that's going to Eve hasn't even left the moon's orbit yet. But first thing we need to do is actually switch back to the space plane that delivered the crew to the questing night mothership going to Eve. Because we got one Kerbal, Hadrid, I think, and some tourists that need to go visit the Manticore station, which unfortunately is on the opposite side of Kerbin, so we're going to have to do some orbits to get there. But that's our first thing, and then we're going to start crewing the space stations again, because we had to semi-abandon them so that we could get our launches done. That's the main thing, and then we got some spaceplane launches that I'm very excited about. So let's go. So right now we are in similar orbit to Manticore, which means it's going to take a long time to actually rendezvous. So I'm going to adjust our orbit and get out there. Thankfully, we have plenty of Delta V on this craft because I managed to fly like an actual good ascent with this thing for once. So we're going to make use of that. I'm going to skip through and I'll see you at the space station. Well, we're coming in for approach now, but that thing is happening again where there's no light at all, except on the flags, weirdly. It's some kind of ambient light bug. I don't know. Let's reduce our closing velocity. So we're just going to have to do this docking in the pitch black, but thankfully I have good instrumentation. If I can just figure out which docking port I'm trying to go for. Okay, I reloaded and it didn't help. Alright, we're just going to do this in the pitch black. Even the lights don't turn on. And we get sunlight back. Thank goodness. I don't know what the problem is when that happens, but boy, that made that whole process quite difficult. I couldn't tell even what docking port I was aiming for. Alright, and we're arriving. I don't remember if I recorded docking this giant tank at Manticore, but we did that. Or we're not quite lined up here. There we go. Good. Alright, we're here. Now we just have to, here, let's turn on the lights and then turn off the lights, since the lights don't work anyway, at least in the dark. Now we need to check on the tourists and make sure that they are happy. I'm not doing, I'm not doing the asteroid one. Time remaining 3 hours, or 4 hours. So Rosby needs to be at Manticore Station for 4 hours. The other 2 tourists are happy to come home whenever. I'm going to skip through this, and then we'll fly home. Alright, I went well past when we were required to be up there because I wanted Kerbin to, the Space Center to be in daylight, since we're having problems with darkness. Vessel complete, we knew about that. Okay, now we're going to undock and go home. Oh, we're in pitch black again. Okay, let me see if I can find the... Oh, for Pete's sake. There's the docking node. You know, we could transfer some fuel while we're here. Does this thing have... Oh my god, I can't see anything. It's got a decent amount of liquid fuel. I think it'll be okay. Alright. Okay, I think this is the right... No. Undock. We're going the wrong way. Gotta go down. Get well clear of the space station. Deploy the solar panels. There they are. Point retrograde. If you can. Oh, we're controlling from the wrong place. Control... Command... Control from here? I guess we're right, we just aren't moving very fast. Why do I have no control? Are we out of battery? Oh, we have no electric charge. Okay. Well, let's warp into the sun. The other Oh, because we didn't have the solar panels deployed that whole time. Let's deploy the solar panels. That will help poor Tomden, who's stranded up there. We should get electric charge from the engines, though, right? I guess not. If we throttle up, do we get... No. We don't get gimbals from those, so it doesn't work. We just have to wait until it's daytime. Okay, it's daytime. We could still attempt a landing from here. Should probably do another orbit. I'll quick save, and then if this goes horribly wrong, we can try again. Down we go. I'll see you on the runway, hopefully. Okay. Attempt number 2, I think, is going to be more successful. Not bad, Hadrid. Not bad for her very first flight. This was literally her first flight ever. Yep, she's got a concerned face, but I think that it's just going to be fine. Dovin's happy. And Gilly is static. Who knows? I can't get it to load. But Rosby and Hadrid were concerned about that situation. But now we're here. We can recover to the spaceplane hangar. And I'll skip to what's next. I think it's a crewed launch, but I'm not sure. So crewed launch is next, but first we get to watch the mothership going to Eve do its sphere of influence change. So I just figure I'll check in on it and make sure it doesn't have some kind of glitch like old school Kerbal used to do every time you passed a sphere of influence. And I get to admire the ship again. Archmage took a lot more work. In some ways, I think Questing Knight is almost better designed. It's got a couple flaws, but so did the other one. So at the very least, it's lighter and more appropriate for Eve, where we can't do landings, and at least we can't do landings yet. Yeah, so let's go to the Sphere of Influence change. I don't think you need to watch. I'm going to do some science when we get there and get their lab started, level them up, things like that. Janeni is doing an EVA to do some science transferring. And that means we get to see the spacecraft from their perspective. Looking nice. I'm very proud of it. I know people make much bigger things, but this is big for me. Alright. And store these. Store experiments. Open the doors. Okay. I'm tempted to try to fly through the ring, but I don't know, that could go badly. Incidentally, we're wearing the ESA space suit colors. Each mission is going to get its different suits, depending on where they've gone. Each interplanetary mission, I should say. So the Duna crew got their blue uniform, and the Eve crew is getting this ESA color. Alright, let's board. And we'll clean the experiments. We can review the data. I think this is all just to keep. Yep. We've already transferred a lot of it into the lab. We're researching 4.5 science a day. We leveled up the crew. They're all level 2 now, so that's good. Let's go launch a spacecraft. Oh, wow, you can see... I hadn't noticed that. You can see the flotilla of ships going off to Duna. There's the rover, the lander, the mothership, the habitat, and the ascent vehicle. They are all spread out on their way to Duna. That's really cool. I switched over to Archmage to check on its science, and I'm noticing, first of all, we can see Moho, that's cool, but we can see the moon. I think that's Kerbin, and that's Minmus. So our little system is out there in the distance, sunward. I thought that was really cool. And we can also see Sarnis, Eve, Drez, and Erlin. This is just such a lovely, and I think there's something out there too. What is that? Nidon is out there. I just thought that was really cool that if we look this way, we can see almost all the planets just sort of aligned out that direction. That's really neat. And there's Jewel. Wonder if we can see Duna. There's Duna. That's cool. We can see all the planets from here. Now we really will do a spacecraft launch. I'm just realizing we're almost out of money. We were supposed to have made money, not lost money. That's bizarre. We lost like 1 million funds. We lost over 1 million funds. Did I buy something by accident? I don't know if that's a bug or if one of the contracts that was supposed to pay us actually stole money, or we failed a contract. Contract complete. It says that's complete. That's fine. We got 60,000 from that. We got 57,000 from that. And I built some spacecraft, but I didn't build anything nearly that expensive. So we can't build anything else until we make some money. Yeesh. I'll look back in the video and see what I had before, because that's weird. We might be able to do these tourist asteroid visits, and if we can do that, we'll make our money back. But otherwise, we can't do any of these missions because we don't have enough money to actually build the craft to do the mission. I have no idea where that money went. Did I build something extremely expensive? I have no idea. Anyway, we're gonna launch something. Let's wait until the daytime. Now we need to hire a pilot, so I don't know where our money went. Money question. I'm gonna save it as that, and then maybe reload and give myself the money back if I can figure out where it went. Because it shouldn't have gone anywhere. I'll check the video. No, as far as I can tell, it seems legit. I must have just spent it all, but I scrapped a ship that was under construction, another asteroid redirect, to get us just enough money to hire another Kerbal, and then we're going to be broke. That's it. So we need another pilot, and here we go. Hire. Now we are broke. We have 74,000 funds total. And we got Bilming Kerman. And he's gonna go on this first mission. Oh, we got the astronaut complex music outside again. Can they turn it down? Alright, anyway. Launch time. Alright, we have Bilming, Kalman, and Lulorf Kerman. They're going to Manticore Space Station. We're gonna fast forward through this launch into the beautiful sky next to the thunderstorm. Here we go. Alright. We're arriving at Manticore Station. I'm going to do a quick docking. And then we'll actually crew the station, and we can send Tomden, I think it is, home back to Kerbin. And we'll have a real crew at the space... No offense to Tomden, but he couldn't do any science. He was just sitting there, you know, continuing our streak of having Kerbals in space, but... he's excited to go home. He's been up here by himself. And we're here! Hooray! Space station operations will now recommence. So, let's, Tomden! You can go into the space plane. Bilming! You can go into the cupola. Calman! You can cut all their names. You can go into the lab, and Lulorf go into the lab. And let's level up crew. Wherever that button is, level up crew. They become level 1. Let's start research. They are researching 8.9 science per day. Their data is pretty full, so I'll just leave it at that. Hooray, we've got a crew researching at the space station again. And we've got life support at the space station again as well. So let's start filling up supplies. Which one is actually this one? Out. Good. All right. Crew has plenty of supplies. And let's plan the return. I think this is a good time to return. So let's just save. How do I undock? Where are you? Undock. Control U. Thrust away. All right, Tomden. Let's go home. If we even have thruster power right now. Yeah, we don't. We have to reactivate the engines. Activate engine. Activate engine. And we'll come down over the Space Center as best we can. Actually, this was terrible timing for coming down over the Space Center. I misjudged, so who knows where we will land, but we will land there, and I'll see you then. So we're tumbling out of control. Thankfully, it's killing a lot of our velocity, but I don't know how to regain control, and I can't find my fuel to pump around. There it is. Come on, give me the nose. In. There we go. I was clicking around trying to find the fuel tank, and I kept missing the one that actually had fuel in it. So pumping the fuel forward should make us more stable. Remember, this plane never got tested on re-entry. This was the first one we made. Well, we killed a lot of our speed very quickly. Maybe we have enough fuel to fly back to the Space Center. Let's find out. The view out the window is stunning. Really cool to look out the window and see the clouds. However, my engines are not coming online, so let me troubleshoot that. The intakes are offline. There we go. Alright, now we go home. Well, that was it for fuel, so we may be doing a water landing after all, but we've had some amazing views of the clouds as we've gone, so it's okay. Alright. A safe water landing. That was an epic storm we just flew through, wasn't it? Camera. Yeah. Alright, Tomden, great job. We'll recover you in the plane. And, then we'll see you at the Space Center. Haha. Good flying. Good all-weather flying. Let's go home. Alright, now we're going to skip ahead 5 days for the construction of the next SSTO. Alright, this should be, I believe, possibly the final launch of the Matt Lone design. I was going to say inspired. It's completely lifted directly. The Matt Lone Orange Tank SSTO, but we've repurposed it for a science mission to Eve. I'm going to fly this up, and I'll see you up there. Well, we've still got a lot of Delta V left. Yeesh. I think because the payload we launched is lighter. So, this is an Eve probe, and let's detach this thing and then get it deployed. Hopefully there's not too much separation on this. Let's find out. Good, good. All right. Let's pull away from it. Good. Switch to it. Deploy the solar panels. Extend the antenna. Okay. The probe is away. Let's rename this thing if I can find the controls. Rove mate. Rename vessel. This is called Marrow Eve, something like that. And it is a rover. Accept. Okay, I'm going to plot a course to Eve. Give me a minute. All right, course plotted and laid in. I'm going to get us aligned. And then I'm going to switch craft and make sure that this thing gets out of the way. So we're going to point that way. And we're going to thrust just to make sure we're not in front of them when they have to do their burn. All right. Let's go to the maneuver, and we're going to go to Eve. I better activate the engine before I forget. All right, we're on our way. I'm going to set up a correction burn and an alarm and things like that, and then we're going to fly the plane home. But I found this tanker probe mislabeled laying out in space here. Good to know. Let's come back to that and set up a rendezvous. Is it anywhere close to the space station? Not really. That wasn't the one I meant to switch to. I meant to switch to this one. We're going to fly this thing home. This is not an easy landing, right? Because it's more full of fuel than it's been before. Oh. I probably could have docked with the space station and refueled the tanker out there. But we did it. And possibly the final flight of the orange tanker SSTO, because we've been developing another SSTO that might replace it. But if we need to send up more orange tanks, we'll go back to launching this again. You know, one side is missing an intake. Has it always been that way? Have they all been missing an intake on one side? Or is this one just having... That's odd. I'll have to look back at the videos and see if they've always been missing an intake on one side. Anyway, we're here. Let's see what's next. Looks like the Vampire Lord ISRU is actually full of fuel, so we're going to launch it up to the refueling station. You've seen this before. I'll just let you know that it happened. What's that noise? Is there a rock slide on the moon? I just never appreciate... I think we landed in the dark. I didn't appreciate what a cool landscape this is. Lots of rocks. Side of the crater over there. The sun off in the distance. The moon looks great. But I don't know why it's making this noise. Anyway, we're gonna launch to the Hex docking node, so let me time warp. And the time warp made the noise stop, so who knows. What is that? Are we ascending into a vortex? What? Oh, it's gone. Oh, that was interesting. Anyway, we're coming in for a docking now. I'll let you know if anything else insane happens. And arriving. Refueling the tankers. Happiness ensues. Well, one tanker is full, the other one's getting filled up. We're ready to send the spacecraft home again. I'll see you on the ground. Rather rocky area, but we'll make it work. We can mine rocks. Alright, mining. Now we're going to launch the new and improved tourism Glabrezu Mark I variant capsule to the asteroid to make some of that money back. Yeesh. So I'm going to launch it. And then we got to figure out who's coming. We need one pilot. So Tomden is available again, so let's grab Tomden. Although so is Hadrid. Let's grab Tomden. And then we're going to need a bunch of tourists. So I believe we have like Lizv or something. Lizvan. Triory. Lanbury. And Rolus. And then, yeah. That's the moon. I got a scroll. Lemzor, Theobird, and Richray. And then we have one that was just bringing them to orbit, so I think if we can fit them, we should take them. Herzer, Nooney, and Harhat. Alright, it's a completely full ship. Let's launch it. This is Tomden's view. What about everybody else? Some of the passengers get to sit up front. Everybody else is in this... Oh, they got a nice view. You can see the moon out the window. Everybody else is just kind of laying in this little area here. This guy's got a view of his feet. But anyway, I don't quite know how we fit 8 in here. But apparently it works out. Okay, what was I doing? It's time to launch. Let's set our target. While you weren't looking, I burned some fuel on the asteroid redirect and changed its inclination so that it was at least somewhat prograde. Let's pull up the Kerbal Engineer rendezvous thing to keep an eye on the relative inclination. Where is it? There it is. And let's make sure we know which way it's going. It's going. So we're going to be launching north. Yeah, of course. We're going to be launching north east. But it's pretty extreme. I'd say it's like 50 degrees or so. Let's give it a shot. Whoops. Roll. Not a great start when you forget to throttle up. At least our relative inclination is going down. We'll see if we're overshooting it. It's point prograde. Alright, so far so good. Relative inclination continues to go down. Gotta watch a few different things at the same time here. This is the model that has parachutes this time. I'll be ready to switch it into orbit mode soon. $11 degrees of inclination difference. Got to cut throttle when we get to orbit, and I've got to switch to orbit mode when we have the same relative inclination, so I'm kind of looking at two numbers at the same time here. Okay, switch. $7 degrees. 6. still 7 again. Alright, slowly going down. Our apoap's time is not increasing. That's a little concerning. At least it's high enough. It's a minute. Okay, it's slowly going up. That's good. We're probably going to have to do a pretty sizable inclination change burn, which is unfortunate. I'm going to burn this way. And what altitude are we trying to get to? Periaps is 145. So we might as well go out at least that high, if we have the delta V. 3 degrees. Apoap's is going to go up first, I think. 2 degrees. 142. 150. Call that good. Point prograde. Let's say that that's good enough. Show engineer, turn that off. Our apoap's is in 8 minutes. So let's switch to our launch stage. Switch to. Oh, I'm still in the atmosphere. Just a second longer. 1 kilometer left. There we go. And you've seen this a million times. This is a lovely little area. I wonder where we are. Look at these nice flowers. Down we go. Very slowly. Look at the detail on the pine trees. That's amazing. Look at the bark. Parallax is amazing. Where are we? We are northeast of the Kerbal Space Center, which makes perfect sense. This is a lovely area. Anyway, let's recover. Back at the tourist capsule, we still have over 1,000 kilometers per second. I forgot to deploy the fairing, so let's go ahead and do that. Those will be space debris because we're in orbit. That's okay. And we're going to do a rendezvous. I'll catch up with you at the asteroid. Some of these overhead shots, like I think we're flying over under the South Pole right now. Right? I don't even know where we are. No, we're coming up over the North Pole. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? Anyway, I got to switch to a different craft. Be right back. The blue orb of Kerbin looking fantastic out there in the black. We're delivering a tank to Manticore Station, but I'm cutting it out. So we'll switch back to the capsule in a sec. Back with the capsule. I'm going to be juggling the capsule and the tank throughout this, but I'll just show the capsule parts. Let's do this with RCS if we can. Should have a decent amount of monopropellant. Yep. Alright, what's our rendezvous now? Oh yeah, not great. I'll keep skipping through this. This is my life lately. Docking tankers. I've been doing this so much. It's my fault because I was like, oh, I'll just launch the transfer stage without any fuel and then I'll just refuel it because we have infinite fuel from mining. But like, yeah, it's technically infinite fuel, but man, does it take a long time to actually get it. Anyway, we've rescued another of the stranded fuel tankers that were out in Kerbin orbit, so I'm going to keep fiddling with this, and I'll see you in a sec. We are now approaching the asteroid, ladies and gentlemen. Where is it? There it is, 4 kilometers away. We will be arming the Grabbing Claw. Grabbing Claw is armed. And now, if you'll just wait patiently, we'll be arriving momentarily. Whoa, very quickly, all of a sudden, actually. Not good when your time acceleration is a little out of control. That's good enough. It's a nice blue glow. Oh, it's coming off the beautiful ocean. That's why it's blue. That's so cool. All right. We're closing pretty fast, but I think we can handle it. Let's keep in mind that this asteroid is hollow, so we don't want to hit it too hard. It might, like, pop like a, I don't know, balloon. Target center of mass. It's basically where the spacecraft is. Let's point at it. And let's pulse towards it. Comden can see the asteroid out his viewport. I'll speed this up a little for you. Okay. Let's not crash into it too fast. About to make contact. There we go. Don't wiggle. Turn off your stability control, turn off RCS, turn off everything. This hollow asteroid is going to wiggle us all over the place. Let's time accelerate a sec. Okay. Don't wiggle anymore. Alright. So let's check our contract conditions. We just need to recover these guys. These ones just need to be here for 15 minutes, it seems, so we'll just time accelerate through that real quick. Okay. We've done everything we were supposed to do. Let's see if we can land close to the Space Center. Actually, I think if we deorbit just around the back, that's going to be perfect. So let's warp here. We might miss. We're going to end up landing on the ground, I think. Oh, I should have gone the previous orbit, honestly. But it is okay. Let's decouple. Alright, good job, everyone. A great time was had by all. I can't see a thing. Let me aim camera here so I can get to the grabber. Release. Alright. Let's point orbit retrograde. Aim camera. Reset camera. There we go. We've got 900 meters per second left, so let's save and then let's try to do this. Make sure trajectories is on. Can't tell if it's on. Yep, it's on. And we're going to miss badly, but at least we're in the right latitude. And we can try to adjust where we're coming in if we make a aggressive burn here. Whoops. Not that aggressive. Like that. Yeah. Like that. I can't quite do this. We want to overshoot because the capsule will always enter less distance than the full craft. I just don't know how by how much? We'll do that. How much delta V is that? It's more than we have. We'll just do as much of the burn as we can. And we'll see what happens. Oh, we gotta watch the timer. Alright, everybody, buckle your seatbelts. We are going home. Can take in the southern lights as we approach our burn. Look at that. Like, I don't know, are those southern ice sheets or sand dunes or what, but it's fascinating. Full power. Turn on the RCS and burn out all the RCS while we're here. I'll see you on the ground. We're not terribly far from the Kerbal Space Center. A few hundred kilometers, maybe? 233. Not bad. Alright, good job, everybody. Good job, Tomden. Let's recover. And now look at our funds. We're back to almost 3 million funds just from those 3 missions. So, again, the tourists are paying for the space program, which is annoying, but realistic. Alright, let's see what else we're doing. I think we might be able to get other tourism contracts, so we better do that. Oh, there's a Sentinel asteroid detection. Map 18 asteroids endangering Kerbin with a Sentinel infrared telescope. I would like to do that. Oh, I only have 3 exceptional contracts left. Or 5. Okay, that's great. I don't know why I said 3. Okay, it's going to expire. Duration is 56 years. Okay, we need to reach the designated orbit around the sun and map 18 asteroids. I will do that. Tourism. Always easy to bring some tourists to low Kerbin orbit, so I'll always take that. 3 tourists to visit an asteroid for 1 million funds. 1 tourist to visit an asteroid for 500,000 funds. Got a money printing machine here. So I got an asteroid in orbit, and I got tourists that want to see it. Meanwhile, I've got this contract to bring 14 tourists onto a long-term orbital training facility, and some will join the space program when they are done. So actually, that would save us a lot of money, because hiring new Kerbinauts is expensive. They need to be in orbit with a pilot, an engineer, and a scientist. One of them needs to be at least level 2, so we need to work on leveling up our Kerbals, because right now all of our level 2 and higher Kerbals are in interplanetary space. We bring the 14 passengers. We need to orbit above 75 kilometers, and we need to stay there for 40 days. So that's 17 people need life support for 40 days, and then they can come home. And it's not really going to pay for itself. The way that it pays for itself is getting free Kerbals. And a lot of reputation. Alright, we're not ready for that, but we can work on it soon. Meanwhile, the Space Hotel... it needs 4 transmitters for some reason. 2 docking nodes. 50 Kerbals. Or room for 50 Kerbals. A lot of electric charge. And it needs to be above 350 kilometers. Alright. I think this is a multi-part thing, because, like, if I build the space hotel, it's going to want me to put tourists on it. So if I build it without life support in mind, it's going to be a big issue. I don't know if I can actually afford to do this, but we'll see. Our next launch is a crew that is going to go out to the Minmus space station and pick up the research that was going on there. The research at Minmus has been abandoned since our last crew left Minmus. So Hadrid, Joffrey, and Gilvin will be going there. Here we go. I finally got an intercept on launch instead of having to do multiple circles and around in circles. So let's make sure we're getting out of the dense part of the atmosphere. I think we pretty much are. And I'll build a maneuver to try to finish the rendezvous pretty handily. Apo. No, that'll mess it up. Hang on. Let's not do that. Sending node is 1.8. Let's point... I'm going to quick save. Let's point south. South or anti-normal, whichever your preferred flavor is. Warp here. Here comes the space station. It's coming in fast. Went too far. Let's just point target retrograde, shall we? They're coming in very quickly. Probably not going to be able to get the rendezvous on this pass just because they're coming so fast and I didn't really plan ahead. It's going to load in. Flies by at 700 meters per second. Luckily, we weren't aimed better. Let's just point orbit prograde and worry about getting into orbit, and then we can worry about getting a better approach. That was fun and all, but I find it less stressful to just, you know, do the way I normally do it. I hope the people who live on this little spit of land are happy with us dropping our rocket stages on them, but we always drop them gently, usually. This is very pretty with a bit of fog, the clearing of trees. I'm amazed we've never hit a tree with one of these things, because we always get close to them. Oh, I just want to go, like, lay around in this giant field. I don't get to see fields like this. This is, you know, really cool. Alright, what were we doing? So, because of the way this launch worked out, we need to do a bit of a drastic burn to not keep getting further away from our destination. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure we're in orbit, and then I'm going to point a combination of prograde and radial out. And that should increase our, what's the right word? Semi-major axis. Let's see if I can fix what we've done. We've got a decent amount of fuel. Sure enough, our close approach is increasing, or getting closer, I should say. Reducing? Whatever the right word is. Okay. We're going to swing out around and make up the difference. And then we're going to go to the ascending node, so we got to be descending, so we got to be in anti-normal. The anti-normal orientation. Let's focus on Kerbin, and let's go to the ascending node. It's good to have a little review of how to dock, or of how to intercept. Fix our inclination by burning there. Good. And now our close approach is 400 meters. They're talking over me. Turn on the RCS and see if we can adjust that any further. There we go. Within 100 meters. That's what I like. And let's warp here and point target retrograde. And that's what I've been doing. I do that all the time. That becomes what the game is about. Once you can dock things, that's like 80% of what you're doing. Well, we'll go in and we'll dock. Arrived. Space station doing its job as usual. So, let's check on our supply situation. I'm going to do some fuel pumping. I'll be right back. All right, well, we've pumped all the supplies from the, transferred. Pumped implies that they're eating like goop. We've moved all the supplies into the supply containers on the Dryad space station core, and electric charge is fine. Let's check on monopropellant real quick. Can I look inside here? Sort of. I want to click on this. No. There it is. Monopropellant is full. Great. Then we can transfer the crew. In this, as we get to sunset. All right, Hadrid, transfer into the control module. Joffrey, in here. Gilvin, in here. Save. Undock. Control that. Back up quick before we bump into a solar panel. Take a screenshot and reset the camera. There we go. Point prograde. Good. And now let's burn retrograde, so that when we burn prograde, we are, it's the whole thing. You got to go backwards to go forward. Why is this not full? Pardon me. Excuse me. Remember when we saved? We're going to go back to it. I thought this was full. Oh, I know. I need to rendezvous. I need that tank to come rendezvous. I'm sorry my camera's so dark, by the way. I don't have lights on right now. It's very dark in here. I need to rendezvous with the fuel tank. Not that one. The one that isn't stranded. Not that one. Not that one. This one. All right. Rendezvous. We've got an unknown object in the vicinity of Minmus. Designation UNK NPZ 512. I believe I may know what that is. It's very close to Minmus Relay 1. We could try to divert Minmus Relay 1 to investigate. I don't know how much fuel Minmus Relay 1 has, and it certainly doesn't have, much in the way of scientific instruments. It would be a very big change to their mission plan to send the Dryad crew. Especially since there's no ISRU on Minmus anymore, so... Well, flagged for future discovery. Oh, there's another one. There's one here too. Okay, I must have found that in the past and already forgotten about it. Glad I'm checking these things. Quickly approaching our rendezvous with the Tanker 4B and Manticore Space Station. Hopefully this will contain enough fuel. This was one of the tanks that I rescued with the other tank that had finally gotten some fuel. We're definitely having a fuel shortage up here. Since we donated everything we had to getting the Duna mission out there. I'll do a docking, and then we'll transfer the fuel, and we'll find out if we're ready to go. Let's activate the lights. Make this a much happier place. There we go. Manticore Space Station is a happy place now. Alright. Fuel transfers. And sure enough, it looks like there's going to be plenty of fuel to replenish the Dryad transfer vehicle. So, now we can go on our mission to Minmus. Thank you, fuel tanker. You are massive. The space station is going to have these ridiculous things attached. This little space station has these giant fuel tanks, and they're just empty, and it's going to take us forever to fill them back up. Oh well. And in this one, too. This one's also empty. For Pete's sake. Alright, we're going to Minmus. Alright, they're on their way. They're going to cross into Minmus's sphere of influence in, what did it say? 3 days. And we're going to do one more thing before we go. Because I'm going to launch a space plane, it started raining. No, not this time. I'm going to warp until daytime. See? Beautiful day. Nice clear skies. So, I'm excited because I designed a space plane that worked. There was an inspiration video. I'll try to find it again and link it if I can find it. But the wing design on it was something that I had seen somebody else build, and I was like, I didn't know you could do that. That's interesting. Clear all. We don't want anybody aboard this thing. Look how many passenger seats there are on this. We are using a single stage to orbit of a new design with fewer engines. It probably is less capable than the one I've been using, but we are launching a new project into low carbon orbit. So let's watch. All right, here it is. Quick save here. Throttle up. Turn on SAS. So here it is. I've called it the Owl Bear, and it's got the Mark III cockpit, although currently there is no pilot. And I guess that's an oversight. We could be giving somebody some experience on this trip. But it is a test flight, and it is a fully autonomous space plane. And this arrangement of using the wings to make long straight wings, never would have thought of that myself. So I'll try to link that video. Anyway, we only have 6 Rapier engines, but we are carrying what I believe is a lighter payload than a full orange tank. And let's go to orbit, and fingers crossed that it performs as well as it did in my simulation tests. Because I promised it worked there, even if it doesn't work here. Pardon me. Here we go. So, I'm very proud that it takes off the runway before the edge of the runway. That's always a good sign with a space plane. spaceplane. Spaceplane? I don't know what a spaceplane is. The engines are aligned on the wings, and the wings are down closer to the bottom of the craft, which means that we do have a off-center center of thrust. When we get into orbit, that causes problems. But when we're trying to take off and fly into space, it actually kind of helps that the engines naturally want to pitch the plane upward. Right now, I am trying to get the craft past the sound barrier. Around Mach 1.3, the Rapier engines start generating more power. So I'm just kind of keeping it in level flight until we can get up to that speed. And then we can start to ascend. What else was I going to say about it? I forget. But it's easier to fly than my previous design, and it's holding stable quite well, which I'm very happy with. Alright, 450 meters per second, 1.3, Mach 1.3. Let's start to gently, with fine control, gently pitch up. And we'll fly into these clouds here. Thunder! I like flying into clouds. There we go. Now you can hear the thunder all around us. And then the next step is to level off. When we get to around 8 kilometers, I start to level off and try to get the most out of the engines before we have to switch into the rocket mode. So, we're at 8 kilometers. I'm gonna point surface prograde. I also really like, this was not intentional at all, but I really like what ended up happening with the streams in the Firefly mod. Like, look at the trails that we leave. For some reason, it has a trail right off the edge of the ailerons, and off of each of the tails, and it just looks really cool. I don't know. I think that is neat. So far, so good. Now, when our ascent rate drops entirely, I'm gonna switch into regular hold so that we don't drop down too much. We're gonna start climbing again. Because we do want to be ascending, just not too fast. We naturally start to pitch up because of the asymmetrical thrust. It's not asymmetrical right to left, it's asymmetrical top to bottom. We're starting to get overheat. We want to get higher in the atmosphere than this. We're a little lower than I meant to be. Alright, we're going up again. I'm going to point to surface prograde again, I think. Keep an eye on those overheat warnings. Going back down again, but now we're going back up again. Just micromanaging our altitude a little bit. I don't think we can get any more velocity out of this at this altitude, but I'm going to try to go up higher. See if we can get any more velocity at a higher altitude before the engines shut off. Right now our speed is just going down. Last time I topped out at around 19 kilometers, so I'll try to get up there before I switch on the other engines. Here we go, we're accelerating again. And the overheats have turned off for the most part. Still accelerating. Not fast, but gradually. I'm watching my surface speed, and once it stops going up enough... This isn't as high a velocity as I got last time, but I'm just going to accept this and switch it into rocket mode. This may not be as perfect a flight as the one I did in the test, but I think it'll still work, fingers crossed. Now I'm just going to hold attitude until the time to apoapse is over a minute, 45 seconds a minute. Then I can get back into surface prograde. As long as our surface velocity is going up, I'm happy. Time to apoapse 45 seconds. 55 seconds. And time to apoapse is a minute, so let's just point surface prograde, and we should be guaranteed, assuming we have the fuel, which I think we do, should be fine to get into orbit. As long as time to apoapse keeps going up, vertical speed keeps going up, we'll get there. Now, I think I want to go to about 100 kilometers. And there was a weird quirk of this design that it naturally nosed up as I coasted, so I actually increased my apoapse while slowing my orbital velocity. So I want to actually go to exactly 100 kilometers and then see what happens. Apoapse is 85, 90, 101. Okay, good. Now it is going down. That's fine. If it goes down too much, we can do something else. So I'm gonna save and time accelerate. So it didn't do the thing it did last time where it went up. That must have been a weird quirk of that particular thing. But whatever, 93 is good enough. And now, press 5 to open the cargo bay. And then hotkey 8 will extend the solar panels and shut down all but 2 of the engines to help with our off-center thrust situation. Okay. Let's make... It thinks we're a space station because of what's in our cargo bay. Let's make a circularization burn. Anyway, it's a big moment for me. I'm just really happy to have built a Mark III spaceplane from my own design, inspired by what I've seen of somebody else, but I didn't like directly copy their design. I just looked at what they did in the video. It's like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. And it actually worked. It didn't require huge amounts of testing. Very happy. So I'll try to link the videos that helped me when I get around to that. I post the videos at such a different time than I say these words that it is hard to guarantee that I will do that, but I'll try. All right, 3 minutes to apoapse. Alright. Now, I don't know if we can go full thrust with this, so I'm going to start burning a little early. If we do too much, we will start to pitch. But at half thrust, with these little engines, with only the two central engines, we're not experiencing any extreme, like the reaction torque is able to hold us steady. See, it's trying to push the nose up because the thrust is a little bit ventral, which is sort of a design flaw, and I think that this craft would work just fine if I just put the wings in the center, but I kind of like it. It's a space plane. It's not, it doesn't need to perform fantastically in space, I don't think. It's not a single stage to anywhere, it's just a single stage to orbit. I only need it to put stuff in orbit and then go home. So if it flies well, that's what I want. Alright, 92 by 101 kilometer orbit. That's workable. Let's pitch up a bit to make sure we get some solar panels. And I'm going to warp around to the daytime on the opposite side of the planet so that we can continue while seeing what we're doing. Because it's no fun being in the dark. He says, sitting in the dark. All right, we're going to point radial in. Quick save. And here is the new craft. This is the Aboleth Exploration Vehicle. So I'm going to turn on RCS, undock this, and then turn off fine control, and then thrust away. Good. Now switch to this. Did we end up with material kits? Yes, we did. Okay, good. Deploy. Well, let's wait until we're a little further away. Let's deploy the solar panels. Deploy the antenna. Turn off RCS. I didn't mean to do that. Roll so that normal is the dorsal vector. And here it is. This is an exploration craft. It could go interplanetary someday, but for now it's actually intended to be a go-between between Kerbin, the Moon, Minmus, and maybe interplanetary space sometimes. It needs crew, of course, but they can come up in a separate launch. We're going to add to the stern of this craft. Pardon me. But for now, it's in orbit. It's ready. We just need to... Well, what do we need? We need a drive section to move it around. And alternatively, we could just send up a truss structure of some kind and use... You know, we could even potentially use one of the tanks at Manticore Station and dock them directly. If we could get them filled up, they could actually make an excellent drive stage if they just had enough fuel. But that will take some time. Anyway, I'm going to rename this. Command, rename vessel, Aboleth Explore. I'm just going to name it Aboleth. It's the Aboleth Exploration Vehicle. I'm going to call it a ship because I think of it as a ship rather than a station. But it'll every time I dock something, it'll be like, you docked. It must be a space station. All right, that's been deposited in orbit. Let's plan our return. So we'll warp here, maybe. Make sure we're not next to it. There we go. I should be a little bit further. Warp. Now, I've not had a successful return to the Space Center in this thing yet. All I did was just deorbit it where it was, and I established that it had a very low landing speed, but it was just a test, so I crashed it into a cactus. At very low landing speed, but still enough to cause major harm. Okay, half thrust on the 2 rapiers. And I expect that wherever we come down, we can actually get a lot more distance than the indicator says we're going to. So we want our X to be west of the Kerbal Space Center, because we're going to deflect, and it's going to end up traveling east pretty far. Something is loading or something. So I'd go so far as to say there is a good return location, and we'll see if I'm right. I don't know. Well, I'll turn that back on because it can be helpful. Turn surface prograde. Warp here. I think it's pretty, but of course I would think that because I worked hard on it. All right, wish me luck. I'm going to fly it in. Gotta close the cargo bay. I'm going to hit 8 again to retract the solar panels and reactivate the other 4 engines. And then 5 to close the cargo bay and the docking port. The other thing 8 does, actually, is it shuts off all the control surfaces. So see how the ailerons are not moving right now as I tilt side to side? When I hit 8, they start to kick in. It's basically the switching from space mode to aircraft mode. I think I deployed solar panels in the wrong place, but it's okay. We're well overshooting the Kerbal Space Center, so we'll have to turn around and fly back, but just goes to show it bounces off the atmosphere very successfully. Maybe it's those big wings. Okay, so we're gonna land here, and now we're gonna land here. Let's keep in mind that that distance is the distance to leave ahead. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Getting overheating on the engines. Let's pull up. I couldn't find the button to turn off time acceleration. That was frightening. Okay, we're coming in for a landing. Hopefully we're coming in for a smooth landing. Let's deploy the undercarriage. Brakes on, including air brakes. I'm going to turn off fine control so that I have more immediate response time. Now we can come in a lot slower than this, but I think that this is going to be just fine. Let's get a little bit more onto the runway. Yeah, there we go. Might as well just bleed off a little bit more speed. Stay on the runway, stay on the runway. Stay. Why are you veering to the right? And there's our drogue chute. Which hopefully will stop us before the end of the runway. I think it will. I need to rotate that so that it looks better. Noted for next time. I like that you can hear the brakes squealing. That's from the rocket sound enhancement, surely. And we did it! Thank you for joining me. We've flown the Owlbear, and it worked, and we came back, and we still have a bunch of fuel. Like, now interestingly, we might have more oxidizer than we need, because, well, no. I'll do the proportioning out some other time. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. This was episode 30, it occurs to me. So, thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.